Alright, well, today we're going to talk about how radar is being used in weather. And this is pretty interesting. What they do, it's what they call a Doppler radar. It uses the Doppler effect to produce velocity data about objects at a distance. So in other words, when that radar spins, it's aimed up at the sky. As that spins, it's looking at for anything moisture in the clouds, the velocity of that. Pulse Doppler radar with pulse Doppler radar. What was that? Pulse. So it would send pulse up, and that would look for precipitation. Okay, this is something that was interesting. In the 1974 outbreak, where 13 states were hit by tornadoes, they had Doppler radar, but it was reflective only. In other words, it could just pick up the reflection of the precipitation in the clouds. Then the next technology was NexRad, which was the next generation of weather radar. And that would be able to, and that was the WSA 188D weather surveillance radar. And that was used for looking at thunderstorms, the rotation of thunderstorms. Or tornadic thunderstorms. And now, like James Spann, who's a weather person here, there are different products that he can pull up with the NexRad radar, the new generations of radar now. One of them is a velocity product. And what that does is the radar looks at the wind flow. It looks at which ways the winds are blowing. If a certain amount of red and a certain amount of green is together, that means there might be a possible tornado. Then you got the TVS, which is Tornado Vortex Signature. And what that does is that looks for the rotation during a thunderstorm. If that storm starts turning, the radar picks it up, but that doesn't necessarily mean that tornado is actually on the ground. All it's doing is picking up the rotation of the clouds and the precipitation in those clouds. Then you got a TDS, which is Tornado Debris Signature. And what that does is when he turns to that velocity product, what that does is it doesn't look for rain or clouds or anything. What that does is that if there's a tornado on the ground, what that does is it looks for your house, your car, your trees, anything that's flying around inside that vortex of that tornado. That's what it looks for. So that's how they know that there's a tornado actually on the ground at the time. I hope this is kind of fun. And that's why, and I said it in a previous video, and I will say it again. If you live in states that are prone to severe weather, you need to buy a NOAA weather radio, which is the Midland 120R, and program it for your county that you live in. And you should take severe thunderstorm warnings as tornado warnings. Sometimes these storms can kick it up a notch and start rotating and drop a tornado without a warning. So you need to be careful. You need to treat severe thunderstorm warnings as tornado warnings. You need to be in a safe place, which is usually the lower part of your home. Yes, and you should treat severe thunderstorm warnings as tornado warnings, because that storm can spin up and start rotating and drop a tornado without any warning. And thank you for watching and putting up with me.